Welcome to 2014. This is my first video of the year. So first of all, I just wanted to say thanks for continuing to subscribe to my channel. I know that I don't upload that often and have any kind of routine schedule for uploading, so thanks to everyone for staying subscribed. Okay, with the exception of this video, I'm going to try something a bit new in the new year. Basically, I think a lot of my videos, they have good content there, but sometimes the content gets a bit lost because I tend to ramble on about things. So I'm starting a new series of videos called the Tempo series of videos, aptly named. And these videos are basically going to be a short rundown of key things that you can improve on, and key things that a lot of people will want answers to in quite a succinct, fast format, so that you can just easily pick up and absorb the things that I'm saying and put them into practice in your own running. So the first one I'm going to do today is going to be how to run faster, but ones that I have already planned out and thought about will also include how to win races, top 5 racing mantras, how to go from fun runner to competitive athlete, top 5 beginner running tips, and then I thought I'd do a few on injury prevention, so how to avoid blisters and how to avoid stress fractures. And I've picked stress fractures there just because I've had 3 of them in the past, so I thought that it's probably I'm a good kind of source of experience to suggest how to prevent them and how to treat them and how to stop yourself going insane when you need to cross-train when you're injured. So without further ado, I'm going to get on and give you my top 5 tips for how to run faster. Just a bit of a disclaimer before I do this. Obviously these are just my tips. I'm not Alberto Salazar or anyone, so if you want to follow them, go right ahead. And obviously you can see over there in the distance my my trophies and things, so you can see that I'm obviously not just making these up. Okay, so number 1, how to run faster. Always make sure that you wear your lightest clothing and shoes, especially races. So if you're running a race and it's a fast race, it's a 5k or a 10k or maybe 10 mile or half marathon or even marathon is your distance, you need to wear the lightest clothing and the lightest shoes possible. Obviously dress for the conditions. If it's freezing, you're probably going to need more than a crop top or a vest on, but if it's kind of above 10 degrees, I think just go for it, because basically reducing the weight of gear and then reducing the weight of the shoes that you've got on is going to make you more streamlined and make you feel more race ready and more prepared for the race. I know personally that in training, even if I wear one layer too much, I have to take it off a few miles into my run, and suddenly I feel like I can run a lot faster because I'm not weighed down and I'm a lot more comfortable. So the second way to run faster, if you're looking to beat your PB, you want to get down to your racing weight. So your racing weight is basically the weight that you run fastest at without compromising energy levels or making yourself ill by overtraining or picking up an injury. So for example, I am 5'5", 5'6", maybe on a good day, and I weigh 8.5 stone. I think that's generally a good weight for me to be training and racing at, just because I do so much consistent training. And obviously when race season is upon us, I do a lot of racing as well. So I don't really have those down periods when I either gain weight or don't train. So for me, I think 8.5 stone is a good kind of racing weight. I could probably afford to drop a few pounds, I think most people could, but I have a bit of an obsessive personality, so it's probably not good to get into that. So if you want to do it in a calculated way, you should run a 10k fitness test. at 95% hard effort and record your time and record your weight and body fat percentage if possible. If you do that regularly and keep on recording your time and weight while monitoring your food intake and work out a balance by body sensing. So what I mean by that is if you're running a 10k fitness test, you know, whether it's on the track or whether it's on a calculated route that you've made up around your block, by recording the times and recording how much better you're getting and recording how much you weigh and how you feel at that kind of weight, you're just basically tracking your progress and you're tracking your speed, how you're getting better, and you're tracking what works for you with kind of food intake and the best weight for you. So I think there's a lot of trial and error in that, but a lot of athletes depend on getting down to their racing weight when racing to run their fastest times. And there's a lot of research and things on the internet that you can look up for that, so that's just a quick tip. The third way to run faster is to either widen your stride or up your cadence. So if you watch the elite athletes, they mostly either have a really high cadence, which is the number of times that your foot hits the ground, and it's why on the track you'll always be told when you're warming up to do fast feet drills, because it just gets your feet and your legs into the kind of momentum of running really fast with a high cadence. Or a wider stride. So find out which one works for you by experimenting with both of them in training so that you can effectively cover more ground in a quicker time. The fourth way to run faster is to choose either the consistent pace route or the interval training route. By this I mean I have been running for 9 or 10 years now. I've only been racing for about 3 or 4 properly, maybe 2 or 3 properly. But I got faster basically by training 6 days a week at a consistent pace over a consistent mileage. For example, I used to run 10k every night and then I'd run 7 to 8 miles every night. You know, this was over a sort of period of a few years. This changed and progressed. I would rest on Saturday and then run longer on Sundays. I never intentionally ran slow, and I still don't, because I don't feel there's any benefit in that. I know a lot of people think that there is benefit in the long slow run or recovery run or running slower, but for me personally I don't see the benefit in it, because I think running slow just teaches your body to become slow. And when I run consistently, for example at the moment I'm running sort of between 7 and 7.2 minute mile, over kind of 5 to 8 miles, and then on long run, which is anything from 10 to 16 miles, I will run maybe sort of 7.2, 7.3. Just for me, I don't feel comfortable running slower than that, and I don't want to teach my body to kind of slack off and get into that. But basically, I never did any speed work other than racing, and I have still been able to get some pretty decent half marathon, and 10k times, so 40 minutes, 1:28 and 3:23. A lot of people might say that if I had done speed work and I had done a more kind of conventional training plan, I might have got there quicker, but just for me personally, I need to enjoy my running, and I wouldn't enjoy it as much if I did all that kind of, I call it sort of robotic in a way, because I don't like to have too much of a rigid kind of element to my training. I like to be a bit more free. So you can go down the consistent route like I did, and I'm sure that will pay off for you and make you a faster runner if you are determined and you're disciplined enough to be consistent like that. But if you want to mix it up and take a more kind of regimented approach to pick up your speed quicker, you could add in interval or tempo sessions where you run hard efforts followed by recoveries, either on the track or the road, but be careful not to pick up an injury with this, because it's higher intensity training, so it obviously means that you're putting your body more through a lot more than if you're just kind of casually running at your comfortable pace. And the last thing that I'm going to say about how to run faster, this is probably the best one for training, because obviously in racing it's going to be set out for you. Pick a good location that won't distract your speed. So it sounds obvious, but if you're not training somewhere specifically designated or optimized for running fast, like a track or a fast piece of road with no need to stop for traffic or people, you won't give yourself the best chance of achieving your top speed. So this is really obvious one, but sometimes when I run a route around Oxford, it's a massively long stretch of road, but there is literally a junction maybe every 30 seconds, so I will have to stop every 30 seconds, look to see if there's a car there, and then, you know, carry on, which can be annoying when you stop your watch at the end and you check out your overall pace and it's a lot slower than you imagined. It's obviously because you're having to stop lots. So just find somewhere that you can train fluidly. And remember to look straight ahead and not down at the ground or around at your surroundings, so that your body is streamlined and you remain focused. The last thing I'm going to say about how to run faster, don't rely on a treadmill too much. I made this mistake last year, which is a bit of a rookie error for me, I think, because obviously, you know, I have run on the road for a number of years now and should know better, but I reduced my road mileage quite a bit in December and was kind of experimenting a bit, mixing it up with treadmill and road running. So I'd do a tempo session on the treadmill, maybe 5 miles, and then the next day I'd go out on the road and I'd run 8 miles. But I found my pace was actually getting worse with that. So for example, at the moment I'm comfortably running kind of 7-minute mile, 7.1 minute mile, but when I was on the treadmill and then I went back on the road, I was definitely slower. I was running sort of 7.2, 7.3 minute mile. Also, it's so completely unnatural to run on a treadmill, just for the obvious fact that there's a belt moving under your feet. It can cause stiffness and injury. I developed a stiffness in my hip through running on the treadmill, and it also sets up a false sense of speed, as it's so controlled on a treadmill. You know, you control everything. You can control whether you've got a fan on you kind of cooling you down, or you control the speed, you can control the incline, you can check everything out on a treadmill, but you're not able to check all that out when you're on the road and when you're racing. So it kind of sets you up for a false sense of security in a way, because when you're back on the road, and especially when you're back racing, there's a lot of elements that you can't control, such as the weather or the course or different competitors. So it's always best to put yourself out there and train on the road if you can, because it just mimics the surroundings that you're likely to be racing on, unless obviously you're going to be racing on a treadmill, but I don't think a lot of us will be. So that's my top 5 tips for running fast. Stay tuned, and the next video will be in the tempo series, will be one of the ones that I mentioned earlier, possibly top 5 racing mantras. But if you have a different video that you would like included in the tempo series, just drop me a comment, and I will do my best to make one for you. Alright, keep tuned. Bye.